Hi Slash, welcome to Pinkpop.
Hi, okay, we're on, yes.
We're on. What were you saying about the little Pinkpop doll?
Oh, she's adorable, except for they should have her dress hiked up a little bit with little pink panties and one eye winked and a cigar.
You're a naughty boy. That would look a little cooler.
Yeah.
This is a little square, this doll, right?
She's a little bit too square. She actually looks satanic, to tell you the truth.
Can I ask you a couple questions about your youth and about growing up and when you started becoming a musician?
Yeah, you can.
Because I understand your parents, they were partly involved in music and showbiz, right?
Right, well, like my mom, this is actually old news. My mom was clothes designer for a lot of rock bands in the 70s. And my dad did album covers. As far as bands, she did Bowie, Lennon, Ringo, the Pointer Sisters, there's a whole bunch of them. And then, so I was just always around that kind of environment.
Those people actually came to your house, or how did they go?
No, we'd hang out at their house. There was a whole street that we lived on, which is called Wonderland Avenue, which everybody knows that street. And it was like, us, David Geffen, Joni Mitchell, somebody who probably nobody remembers, David Blue.
David Blue, huh?
Yeah, my dad used to do his album covers. So we all lived in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
But that was like a very late 60s, early 70s kind of vibe that's not really existent anymore, but that's where I come from.
That was Hollywood? That was in Hollywood?
I'm an offshoot of the baby boomers, I suppose, almost.
But this was in Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't, when I was in England, when I was born, I was raised around my uncles and stuff who all listened to the Moody Blues and the Stones, and so it's always been sort of a music thing happening.
So was there a particular event that happened at some point that made you decide you wanted to be a guitar player yourself?
Well, okay, always having liked music and having been able to differentiate which music I liked and which music I didn't like at a very young age. I didn't have any expectations to be a musician, but I was very familiar with music. So when I got turned on to guitar, it was just around the time that I was about 13, 14 years old when I discovered it. And then I actually started to play when I was 15. Steven Adler, the old Guns N' Roses drummer, turned me on to guitar playing.
Is that so?
Yeah, he couldn't play guitar, but there was something about it that he had one at home. And when his grandmother would go to work in the morning, we'd ditch school and hang out at his grandmother's house. And he had a little amp and a guitar, and he put like a Kiss record on or an Aerosmith record on or something. And then he'd just bang away on it. He couldn't play it, he just bang on it. And I got a fucking hard on from it, so.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
And I started playing guitar.
And did you, do you remember any of those people in particular that came to your house? Was there a meeting that you remember in particular?
Well, David went out with my mom for a year.
David who?
Bowie. Went out with my mom for pretty close to a year. So he was always around. And of course Angie was always around. I don't know how that worked. But,
yeah. Yeah.
And then there was Minnie Riperton, Carly Simon,
But like David Bowie, that wasn't the type of music that you were into, or was it?
No, I like everything. I mean, as long as it's genuine, I like a huge span of music. The kind of music that I actually do happens just to be my particular kind of, my own personal trip, you know? But there's a lot of stuff that I listen to. I don't necessarily sound like it, but there's a lot of things I listen to that people wouldn't expect me to listen to.
And now you have become a rock guitar player. And is this like a dream come true in a way? Is it like what you had imagined, or?
I didn't imagine anything. See, I never had any convoluted fantasy thing going on. I just like playing. So for me, it's a lot of fun. It's really exciting. It's a lot of hard work and so on. So I don't look at it from sort of like the average fan's point of view where it looks so glamorous, because I know it isn't. I just like to get it together, get up and play, and do it as much as possible.
Why is it that you don't let us see your eyes, by the way?
Because I didn't sleep last night.
What did you do then instead of sleeping?
I'm kidding. I slept on the bus.
Yeah. So then you haven't answered my question.
I always keep my hair in my face.
Why is that? People want to see your eyes. No.
It's no big deal.
Beautiful jewelry, by the way, I must say.
Well, that's you have to to give all the credit to the kids at the shows that give me this stuff. I don't go and buy it.
Is that so?
Yeah.
They just come up to
I
you?
don't have anything on right now that I bought.
Oh, you're kidding. So people just come up to you and give you this beautiful...
We hang out a lot, and sometimes, we exchange T-shirts. Like I got this from one of the Ugly Kid Joe guys yesterday, so he provided me with a shirt to wear today.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes when we're hanging out in the crowd or whatever, I'll run into somebody and I'll go, oh, that's cool, and they'll give it to me. And I'll give them something, and just sort of...
But you can still go into a crowd and not be bothered.
I can't walk around in there, but
I mean,
on the side of the stage and stuff, some of the people that have passes that are hanging out, or by the bus or whatever. Does that sound strange to you?
No, but I could see you buying this, but you didn't. Okay, that's okay.
No, I hate shopping.
Really? You just sit home and play guitar, right? That's what you like to do best.
More or less, something to that extent. I usually spend most of my time at home figuring out a way how to get the fuck out of there so I can be on the road, which is how I ended up here. Yeah.
So just a question that everybody wants to know the answer about is, when did you last talk to Axl Rose?
Probably about 6 months ago.
Is that so?
We go through these periods where I do my thing and he does his, and then eventually we come together, and that's when another Guns N' Roses record gets done.
Yeah.
When this tour ends, it's a 6-month tour, I'll go in August. I'll go home and basically we'll regroup, so to speak, and then then Guns will probably spend a little bit of time in the studio and then be on the road for a while. We'll be like family for a long time, and then when the tour ends, I'm probably just going to go back and make another Snakepit record and do another small club tour, and we'll just sort of play it that way.
Right.
But of course, nothing is ever that predictable. But that's the basic plan.
Yeah. And you didn't feel the need to call him and say, "How you doing, man? And how's it going?"
At this point, I'm touring, so I have a hard enough time calling my wife.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Where is she then?
She's home in LA.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But you do call her every now and then.
I call her when I get to a phone. We're on the bus most of the time. So.
Yeah, okay. So how's it going with this, with your new band?
It's awesome.
Yeah?
Well, I have a certain passion for the very spontaneous, go for what you know rock and roll approach, which is what this whole band is based on. I mean, we haven't been together that long or anything like that, but we all get on very well. And so we throw a set together, like we just threw one together for tonight, and we just go out there and try our best, and it's something about that immediacy that is the way where I come from, that I sort of, Guns is already established. If we go out on the stage with Guns N' Roses, they're going to expect to hear certain songs, this and that. Nobody knows any of the Snakepit stuff. Maybe Beggars and Hangers On, a couple of the songs, but basically we're just going out there on our own merit, and that's all we have to go on. I sort of like the challenge, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
Well, thanks a lot, and good luck with your show.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
All right, dude, see ya.
Nice.